Hello everybody, my name is Mousy and welcome back to my Forever World series. Today we are starting one of my biggest projects to date. We are going to be building a new main base. So this is a project I've been meaning to do for quite a while now because my previous main storage building has just felt like a warehouse lately. I finally decided on a location for the base. We are just a little ways away from our main town, and I found this nice little forest valley in between some mountains, which we went ahead and cleared out with trees and flattened out with a lot of dirt. But the idea here is to have one singular gigantic structure which houses all our main needs, especially the storage area. I'm looking to expand the storage, even though technically we don't need more storage, but never hurts to have a bigger storage. So this is my storage area that we've had for quite a few years now, and it has gotten the job done. We still have a lot of chests that aren't even filled. Like you see, all these chests back here are completely empty. But I think I just want to do some rearranging, especially like the building itself. I want to make these hallways a little more spacious looking. I don't want them to feel like a warehouse that's just cramped. I am gonna miss it though. I liked the warehouse vibes for quite a while, but it's just time to upgrade. So I switched over to a creative world on a super flat where I can just play around with the textures and the hallway shapes and the sizing that I want to have in the structure. And then as we kind of get an idea of the color palette and the shape and form of it, we're gonna start doing some more detailed texturing, and then different areas will have also different themes as well. Right now I'm just playing a little bit with the texturing that we have going on, see what we can make, what do we like. Okay, so I tried adding a few wall details and also some structural details, and I'm starting to really like how it's coming along. I am convinced that I like the sort of modern style lighting with like a long LED bar, but just in a more wooden, aquatic, rustic kind of vibe. I think I'm trying to strike a balance between industrial and natural at the same time in this build, so it kind of fulfills both of my interests. I'm going to have a central room, which is a large circular dome. There's going to be a dome ceiling right above, and it's going to be much higher ceilings than the rest of the base. But the thing I've been adjusting so far has been the wall textures, and I'm liking where it's headed right now. I'm thinking that just with the wood and greenery variations, as well as some deep slate variations, we can get the texturing pattern that we want, while still maintaining a little bit flatter textures on some of the structural items, such as the padding or the edges of the walls and ceilings. Alright, so I've been building for a while, and I think I have a pretty decent idea of the entire layout of the building. So now it's just going to be a matter of actually making it. Progress update. It is the next day, and we have laid out the majority of the foundation of the inner hallways. I have massively underestimated the size and scale of this build. So what you see right here, all this flooring, which honestly from up above looks really simple and small, this has taken me about 4 or 5 hours of building time. So I don't even want to begin to imagine how long it's going to take to actually put up the walls and roof. But we're going to push through. So this episode is going to be a lot of building. Alright, we got the sea lanterns in, and then we've also put in most of the spruce wood columns. Now we're going to put in all the creaking wood. And now we've got most of the pale oak wood in. It's finally giving the structure a lot more volume, and this is really starting to show the scale of it. Alright, we are making progress on the base. So we've put up the walls. The next step is going to be to texture these walls and texture a little bit the greenery that's going to go on the sides. And then I also have to make little water spouts. Now, if I don't break this episode into multiple parts, this is going to take weeks and weeks for me to finish. So I'm thinking the first episode is just going to be me finishing the dome, which is going to be the central part of this tower right here. So this circular area. And then episode by episode, we will slowly work our way outwards to the external parts of the base. But here's a little aerial view for everyone so you can get a better idea of the size. So it's about 180 by 180 blocks wide. So it's a pretty big build. You can see with the forest compared to it. This is definitely a mega project. Progress update. So it's been a few days since I last worked on this project here, and Today, we did go and get some happy guests earlier in between the episode, and that is going to be a separate episode, which I will upload later. But I'm going to try use it today to see if it helps me build, because I think for this episode at least, we're just going to be building the central dome, and so we're going to make a big tower right here, and we're going to leave the other sections of the building for later. So we're going to play around a little bit with the happy guest. We're going to see if we mix the scaffolding a bit when we need it at times, and then hopefully we can get more use out of this guy. He is a little difficult to navigate and he is a little slow, so I hope they kind of tweak his controls a little bit, because that would make it a lot easier whether it's building or travel. But for now we should be able to get by just with regular building. So far we seem to be making decent progress without the happy guest. So I've started by building up the pillars first, and then in a little bit we are going to be filling out the walls of this section. The height of this central section is going to be very important because it's going to establish the scale of it, especially as seen from far away. So I really wanted to overlook all of the mountains surrounding. Over there we have a lot of our builds, as well as behind this mountain we have behind the mountain we have our dye village. And with that pillar complete, we have section number 1. All right, I had to come back to get some materials for the next section. For this section, we're going to be using a lot of prismarine variants, and these tones of greenish blues are going to complement really well with the green highlights. Alright, we've got a full shulker of prismarine bricks, prismarine, and dark prismarine. That'll be enough for now. Let's head back. I love flying over this area. Wow, the structure is so visible from far away. It's on the edge of my render distance and it already looks so up close just from the sheer size of it. Wow, this is going to be so cool looking. It's going to hit the cloud limit, I think. Now I've got one wall panel in. It didn't take me too long to do this panel. The problem is I have to make about 24 equal panels to this one. So I'm just looking at the time and this might have to be left for another day. But we're going to keep up and see how much we can get done today. I really want to do this whole tower before the end of the episode. Guys, I've been placing prismarine blocks for hours now and it feels like it's never ending. But we're almost there. 1, 2, and then the third layer is going to be the last prismarine layer. And then we're finally going to move on to a different block palette once we pass this layer. Okay, we are about 85% done. Okay, I'm getting close to the end. Just working on this last ring made out of wood and sea lanterns. Wow, look at that view, you guys. And from what I remember in my planning world, the remaining structure is going to be about 30 blocks taller than this. So we're right now at height 138, so this is going to extend to around 170. Maybe a little higher if we build a spire. And final touch, there we go. We've got a tower. Oh, beautiful sunset. Another reason why I picked this location is because I saw the sunset in the mountains and I thought it would be really aesthetic. Especially the view from down here, so in the central section you can see in the distance the sunset behind the mountains. That is a very big tower. Wow. I need to remove these leaves now. Originally, I put these in just as a marker for the center of the building. Alright, so I just finished a little bit of detailing on the columns here with some sea lanterns and some tough and spruce pieces. Now we are gonna finish up with the dome, but let me just quickly change out this dirt here, which has been annoying me from the start. It's gonna end up being a map floor, so we're gonna put in a glass flooring, and then underneath is gonna be a bunch of sea lanterns with the map of the world. And hopefully it looks good. I'm gonna need to take some of this glass as well. And we're gonna need a lot of green dye. Now that we've removed all the dirt and put in some moss blocks surrounding the glass and sea lanterns, we are gonna leave it like this for the time being, but later on, we're going to come back in here and place item frames on the sea lanterns and place down our map. Now getting on with the dome construction, I just made a lot of lime stained glass. I can't wait to take out this chest monster, this is getting ridiculous. Okay, time to come up here. Now what's insane is the building is now taller than how high I can get up with a single rocket. Wow, it's not even loading in the chests. Alright, we have completed the majority of it, you guys. Let's get a good aerial view. Check it out. Wow, look at that. Oh, this is gonna look great when it's completed. Okay, last step, we're gonna put the dome. Alright, last step, we're gonna put the dome up. Okay, so I just died from falling from the elytra. I was not being careful. Alright, everybody. I am proud to announce that we have finished the top dome. Wow, look at how it looks. That's amazing. Oh, this is going to be so cool when we have the rest of the building. Alright, ooh, I like how the spire pops out through the clouds. That's going to be really cool. And then you look at that. You can see this thing from a mile away. Wow, it towers over everything. Jeez, it's taller than all the mountains around it. Even though the lime green is a little bit bold of a color, I think it's going to look really cool. And then given I'm highlighting all of the interiors with a lot of greenery, I think the green is going to be a good color combo. And then having these blue colors in the prismarine was a good idea to not have the whole building overrun with one single shade. It's kind of like, imagine a cooler shade of green. Now at some point we are going to have to come through here and do some detailing for the moss because I want it to be a little bit more scattered, a little bit more overgrown looking. And then we'll put in some vines around here and such, and leaves. We need to put in leaves. So something like this, and then we'll add in some vines and then some more moss carpet and a little waterfall. So it looks a little more overgrown. Yeah, I'm super satisfied with this. And we ended up not even using the gas. What a shame. So before I head out, I'm just going to leave you guys with a nice time lapse of the whole build. So grab a drink, sit back, and enjoy. Alright everybody, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching this episode of My Forever World. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep up with my content on My Forever World, please subscribe, it really helps a lot. And that way you can stay up to date on everything I do here. Thank you and have a good day. Bye bye.